Hey guys, Jordan from Condo here. Today I'm going to talk about a question I get asked a lot, and that is, should I rent or buy a condo in Toronto? And obviously I'm a little bit biased. I am a realtor, so by default the answer is you're going to buy it. But in this video, I'm not going to go over all of the advantages and disadvantages to buying or renting a condo. I'm going to focus on just the financial aspect of it. So the first thing we need to do is we need to pull a real live example of a condo that you could buy or rent today to compare and contrast the cost of both. So the unit that I've picked in question here is unit 2308 at 10 York. It's a 575 square foot, one bedroom, and it sold recently for $718,000. Now, luckily, the exact same unit on the 24th floor recently leased out, and it leased out at a cost of $2,400 per month. So that gives us our rental benchmark, and of course we have our purchase benchmark, so we can now compare and contrast the financial advantages and disadvantages of both. Okay, let's start with the purchase side. Unlike renting, we're going to need a large amount of capital up front just to get into the unit in the form of a down payment and of course closing costs. Minimum down payment for secured mortgages is 5% on $0 to $500,000 and 10% on the balance above $500,000. So in the case of this unit, we need about $46,800 down in order to purchase it at a price of $718,000. Now we have a couple of closing costs, most notably land transfer tax. And in the city of Toronto, we pay double land transfer for the beautiful privilege of living in this amazing city. So LTT on this particular unit would set us back about $21,870. But luckily we're going to pretend that we are first-time home buyers, so we're going to get a rebate of $8,475. In addition, we'll throw on a quick $2,000 for lawyer fees, legal fees, and that kind of thing. And we wind up to $61,995 in sunk capital just to purchase this unit prior to monthly expenses. Now, next up is our monthly expenses, which will be comprised of three main things: your mortgage, your property taxes, and your condo maintenance fees. First up is the big ticket item, the mortgage. I've used a mortgage rate of 2.5% over a 25-year amortization. Now, believe it or not, you can actually get better rates than 2.5% right now, but I'm going to play a little conservative and assume that rates creep up over the next few years, and we're going to go with 2.5% for the case of this video. With these mortgage terms, our monthly payment works out to be $3,127 per month. Maintenance fees in this particular unit works out to be about $280 a month, and property taxes works out to be about $260 a month. This brings our grand total on this particular unit to $3,667 per month to own. And if you remember from earlier, we can rent the exact same unit for $2,400 a month, which gives us a monthly differential of about $1,267 a month. Now, obviously, that is a significant difference. That's a lot of cheddar, and there are a lot of units that work out significantly better on the purchase side than this one, but I decided to stay true to this particular case study. It is a great condo building in a great neighborhood, very accessible, and it is recently completed. And it doesn't tell the whole story just by looking at that monthly differential. So every month that you make a mortgage payment, you are paying not just your interest, but also your principal. And that principal is going towards equity in your home that you get back on the sale of your home. The other thing to keep in mind is that your mortgage interest is front-loaded, meaning each month that goes by, you pay less interest and more principal. At a 2.5% interest rate, in your first year, you pay about $1,700 a month towards your principal. So if it wasn't for the hefty down payment and closing costs, in your first year, purchasing would actually work out a little bit better than renting when you account for principal recapture. Now, if you're a savvy investor, you've probably already skipped ahead a little bit, and you're thinking, yeah, but with the money I'm saving by not buying the condo in both the form of the down payment and the monthly differential, I could invest that money elsewhere and earn a larger return on my money. Maybe, depending on how and where you invest. So over the past decade, the S&P 500 has outpaced most of the large investment firms in terms of year-over-year growth. Now, the S&P obviously has its ups and downs, but over a long time frame, it works out to be about 7% appreciation year over year. So in order to get an idea of whether investing in the S&P or a condo is going to give you a better return, we're going to look at an 8-year time frame, because the average homeowner holds their home for about an 8-year time period in Canada. So let's say you take all the savings from renting over an 8-year period and you invest it right into the S&P 500. That means that on day one of renting, you would invest $61,995, which was our down payment and closing costs, if you remember from earlier on the condo unit when we purchased it. And then you would also take that $1,267 payment differential that you are saving every month from renting rather than buying, and you would invest that into the S&P 500 as well. Now, at the end of the 8-year time period, assuming that the market performed at the 7% average, we didn't see any crazy bull runs or any crazy crashes, that investment would now be worth about $271,000. Now, that's not bad at all, considering you've only invested about $183,000 of your own money, and it's only been about an 8-year time frame, and you already have nearly $100,000 in profits. But again, this doesn't tell the whole story, because condo prices, as we know, also appreciate. Now, granted, it doesn't tend to appreciate as well as the S&P 500, for example, but you are far more leveraged because you have less of a down payment while leveraging the appreciation of the whole asset. So over the last decade, Toronto condos have actually averaged in excess of 7% a year, but it has also been the best decade for Toronto condos ever. In Toronto, the 45-year appreciation average on condos works out to be about 6.1% year over year. To be even more conservative than that, I'm going to cut that down to 5% just to see how the numbers work out here, assuming a slower market over the next 5 years or so. At 5% appreciation per year, the condo that you purchased at $718,000 is going to be worth $1,010,000 8 years in the future. The balance on your mortgage, after accounting for all of the payments that you've made over the last 8 years, in addition to your original down payment, is about $519,000. This leaves you equity positive on your condo investment of $419,000, almost twice what you earned in the S&P 500. And it makes sense when you really start to think about it, because you're extremely leveraged in the property market when you only have to put down 5 or 10% to control an entire asset. So essentially that means you're leveraged 5 to 1 or 10 to 1 in one of the most stable markets in the world. And that kind of leverage is impossible to achieve in the stock market without taking on gross amounts of risk in things like Tesla calls. And this leverage is the average person's ticket to financial freedom, to paying your kids' schooling off, to retiring early, to buying a yacht, whatever your goal might be. Thanks for watching, guys. Please smash the like button. Subscribe if you like this type of analytical breakdown. I'm going to be doing more of these in the future. And reach out anytime with real estate questions or any questions in general, Jordan@precondo.ca. Take care. See you next time.